Hi, welcome to B.L.A.C K Media. I'm your host, Tony Jackson. This is my co-host, War Mahat.
How y'all doing out there, America and the world?
Today, we're here to discuss justice. This is Peoria County Courthouse. This is where justice begins and where it ends. So, War, what's the problem going on in America right now?
Well, the problem going on in America right now is people don't understand the new laws that's been taking place since 9/11 has happened.
So, these laws are taking place, are they for all? Because Black Americans are feeling like the unequal justice of substandard treatment and sentencing guidelines.
Well, that's the tricky part. Justice for all, okay. Let's think about that. Well, these new laws, they involve gangs. If you are in a gang in America, the new Homeland Security laws say that you are considered a domestic terrorist. So let's think about who are the gangs in America? Well, there's probably tens of thousands of gangs in America.
Definitely.
Different gangs, all races, all ethnicities, all cultures. Some gangs violent, some gangs are peaceful, some gangs help the community, some gangs hurt the community. So, African American gangs, well, predominantly started in Chicago, Illinois. That's where predominantly the black gang started, in Chicago, Illinois.
So you're saying these new laws are for the black gangs out of the big cities?
Well, the way the media portrays and exploit black gang violence, specifically in Chicago or major populated urban areas like St. Louis, Chicago, Oakland, places like that, it's predominantly black gangs. You hear about the violence and the stuff that's going on in these neighborhoods, and they're exploited more, so these gangs could be targeted more by law enforcement than, let's say, the Italian mafia.
Yeah, because that's definitely the biggest gang of all time is the mafia, KKK, the Aryan Nation. So these laws aren't for gangs, they're for black gangs.
Well, they supposed to be for all gangs. The Hell's Angel biker gang actually was the gang who brought this new law to my attention when they sued Homeland Security for having them on the terrorist watch list. They had chapters trying to come into America from overseas, and they weren't allowed entry into this country. And after they done an investigation, they found out that they was on the terrorist watch list. Now this is a white American biker organization that American law enforcement has classified as a gang and put on a terrorist watch list. So when you understand the new law under the Homeland Security, you can be held as a terrorist indefinite without trial, and you have like one opportunity to comply with law enforcement, or they can use lethal force. And that's what's been going on, and a lot of people don't understand how are law enforcement able to shoot a guy that's not deemed a threat to most of our understanding of how the law works. A threat means somebody have to be coming towards you with a weapon, or just even looking like with the force to do you harm. You're never considered a threat running in the opposite direction. So you should never see too many people shot in the back by a cop unless the person had exchanged some type of gunfire with the officer in order for the officer to respond back with such force. But if a guy is just running away and he's shot in the back for no apparent reason besides running, those not laws that most citizens know about and are aware of, because if the American citizen was aware of these laws, I'm pretty sure a person wouldn't run if they knew a cop can shoot you in the back just by running.
Well, let's examine that. There was a 19-year-old kid.
So, what was the details of that? Did you recall?
Well, from what the newspaper said,
The media.
they pulled a guy over. He ran. The article never said that he pointed the gun, shot the gun. Just said he ran, and the cops shot him.
From head to toe, if I remember.
Yeah, shot him in the back of the head, and in his back.
Well, you know,
And right here in Peoria, Illinois, just for running. Now, let's get a clear understanding of terrorism, because for you to classify someone as a terrorist and take away their constitutional rights and their liberties as American citizen, because you calling them a terrorist, where is the evidence? Where is the record of the terror that this person has caused?
well, let me, you know, I am the media. I graduated with my major in media from Western University, and there's two things I'm aware of. If you shoot a police officer, deadly force is going to be used. If you attack a government official, deadly force is going to be used. A couple of years ago, Dylan Roof, a white man, walked into a black church. He shot a U.S. congressman, first time ever elected, had hate language on his social media, deeming him to be a terrorist of hatred. He was apprehended. He's now in custody. There's a man with a gun who's killed a United States congressman, a government official, get peacefully taken to jail. A man without a gun gets shot in the back running away.
Well, that's a good point. So that takes us back to these laws and why they seem to only be really affecting a certain group of people. And it's no coincidence when America declared war on drugs that African Americans seem to be the only drug dealers in America.
For all y'all out there calling yourself gods, you ain't God. You ain't reached that pinnacle of greatness. Bottles. That goose get loose, and the truth is that I hope these bitches swap. Leaders, masters, followers. The power's in the truth. It ain't in the lies.
Yeah, sorry about that. We had to go to commercial break, pay a couple bills. But to pick back up where we left off at, yeah, there's a very big disparity between how the law is being applied to African Americans and people of color, period, compared to white America. True. Now, when you talk about how many African Americans have been shot down by the police that did not pose a real threat, how many African Americans are being held without bond, without a speedy trial, without a fair trial in America. And this is all going on right now, from the Cruz situation to another situation that we got going on in Sagamon County with Johnny Ray Priester.
Now, Johnny Ray Priester, that sign right there, it says all people of all color fought for this Constitution. Johnny Ray Priester is a black man. He's been held in Sagamon County. They're bragging about it. 6 years he's been held in Sagamon County. May 29th, 2012, he was arrested for first-degree murder. March 2018, 5.5 years plus later, he went to trial for the first time. And he was found guilty. What do you think about that? 5.5 years without the first trial.
I think that's I think that sounds like some of the things that was going on in Guantanamo Bay when they found out that they was over there holding those prisoners without trial. They was over there treating them like animals. They was over there abusing them, framing them. And Guantanamo Bay was supposed to get shut down, but it was never shut down, and 9 times out of 10, it's still open and operational right now. So when we're talking about from torture programs to using drones on American citizens to locking up American citizens without due process, without a fair trial, without a speedy trial, this is all going on right now in America to American citizens that pose no real terrorist threat to America. But they do pose a threat to the establishment that's selling out American liberties to the highest bidders in the foreign banks.
Now that you brought that up, B.L.A.C.K, what are we going to do about it?
We're gonna broadcast legitimate accounts conveying knowledge. That's what B.L.A.C.K Media stands for. Broadcasting legitimate accounts conveying knowledge to the people. And when I say legitimate, I mean you might hear me stutter, you might hear us mess up words. We're not going to really edit this stuff. We're going to record it. We're going to put it out to the people. We're going to do interviews. We're going to give you the raw footage, the raw interview, the uncut, legitimate truth. And we're going to give it to the people because what the President of the United States of America is saying right now is majority of these news outlets are fake news. They're not reporting what's really going on. How many news media outlets have ever reported that gangs in America are considered domestic terrorists?
Man goes into a school, Parkland, Florida. Mass shooting. Police officers stand down, allow him to kill multiple children. Was he killed on the scene? Was he shot in the back?
I'm not that familiar with this situation. What happened?
Kid goes into school. They got social media. How much he hates. He hates blacks. He had assault rifles that he bought legitimately. Police officers have been sent to his office over 39 times. He was taken peacefully. He said he had a mental disorder. Another incident, and another one. There was 2,200 school shootings in 2016. Not one of them shooters was black. Now, this justice that we all fought, blacks and whites and people of other colors for the country, justice is taken in the streets by the police officers against blacks. Cruz, scared kid, 19 years old, running from the police. I jumped out and ran from police when I was a kid. It's just kind of stupid thing to do. War, rest in peace. He's not here anymore. He pulled no gun out. There was never no indication he had a gun. There was never no sign that he went for a gun. Statement, shot from head to toe. Dead, hurt nobody. Parkland, Florida. Multiple kids killed. How come? He's in a mental hospital. Dylan Roof, white kid, killed a United States congressman. Instant death penalty for killing a government official. They just decided just a few short months ago that he should receive the death penalty. Cruz Fernandez, he got the death penalty without being judged by 12. He was judged by those white men in those Peoria police officers' uniforms. Because allegedly at the time was he committing a crime. He had not yet been found guilty of anything other than running away because he was scared. Black media, that's what we're here to do. To expose the truth. United we'll stand. We'll go in our courtrooms. We will find out what's really going on. Government officials are elected in, but they can't be elected out. The power's in your vote. That's what we fought for. That's what our Constitution. We're going to make them hold to every letter of the law. Johnny Priestley, he may be one single man, but it happens throughout the whole country all the time. Private prisons, who are they built for?
I mean, look at the numbers. Look at how many African Americans fill up the prison population. We take up 30 to 35% of the prison population. So, and we only make up like 18% of the population of this country. So it's easily, you know, to say that the laws in America are targeting African Americans. I mean, when the CIA, from the Iran-Contra to the Vietnam War, when they was helping bring the heroin and the cocaine into this country, it was put in African American communities, not just to destroy the community, but to also fuel the prison population with African Americans. You gotta understand, this war against blacks in America,
let's call it what it is.
It's still going on.
It's not a war on terror. It's not a war on drugs. It's a war on blacks.
It's a war on blacks in America. And black media is here to report every step of the way on this war.
War? Let's first establish your credentials so you'll know. War can be doing anything else. War, worldwide hip-hop artist. He uses his platform to be an activist, to fight for the injustices. Me, I am a radio talk show host. I have 4 international talk shows. We have decided that our gifts are to bring the real news, the real legacy of what's going on. And you know what? To bring our people together. You know, to teach people that we can vote. We can vote them officials out. You know what? No doubt we can vote them out. We need to show you guys this is where power is. It's not crying on social media. But you get a hold of War Muhammad, myself, Black Media, B.L.A.C.K. War will give you guys information. And you know what? We will investigate. We will follow. We will unite you guys. We will demonstrate. And you know what? We will bring about change. We will. Everybody who fought for this country will get the same equal treatment. You know, 8th Amendment rights, what's being violated right now, excessive bail, unlawful imprisonment, you know, man, that's what Johnny Priestley's dealing with. He's looking at natural life for 60 years for a crime that obviously wasn't a reasonable doubt. It had to be reasonable doubt. It took him 5.5 years to bring him to trial. Evidence was lost. Over 30 continuances. That's against every part of the Constitution. He was unlawfully held. Can one person make a difference? You know what? Maybe not. But a united front of people can. Black media, we're going to bring them together, Ward.
Definitely. And the main thing that we got to focus on is the legislation and the laws, these new laws that's affecting our people in such a horrible way, because that's all we have to fight with is the law. If we don't use the law as our weapon, then we fail. We got to understand how are they getting away with doing what they doing to our people, and how they are getting away with these things is all legislation and law. So if the terrorists that knocked down the buildings in 9/11 was all Arab nation, not one of them of black descent, why are African Americans at the top of the terrorist watch list in America, and why are we the #1 people being affected in America by these new Homeland Security laws? Now, when you think about all of the Arabs in this country, even in Peoria, they're expanding. Their businesses are growing bigger. They're getting more money. They're expanding. I salute y'all. I'm not mad at y'all. Get your money. Blow your business up in a good way, in a positive way. But African Americans, we don't get no loans, we don't get no help, but all we get is tore down, we get criticized, we get stereotyped to where, how do you identify a gang member as a cop? So obviously you're looking for anybody that looks like a rapper, right? Braids, dreads, dark blue colors. These things can get you shot. In the mind of a police officer, these are the things that he's taught to look out for to know what a gang member might look like. Back to the legislation and these laws, because this is very important that we get politicians out there to address. We shouldn't have to do all the investigating. These politicians out here, Peoria politicians, Illinois politicians, need to investigate. Are all black Americans or majority black Americans either on the terrorist watch list or suspected to associate with a terrorist, domestic terrorist, just because you might know somebody or have somebody in your family that's in a gang? And if this is the case, how do the laws read for these people? How do the laws read? You, at the minimum, have an obligation to inform the people of the laws. You have an obligation to tell a black African American child that's in a gang or maybe thinking about joining a gang, hey, if you join a gang now in America, you're going to be considered a domestic terrorist, and we can shoot you in the back of your head just for running away. Justification of the murdering of these black men, even in the mind of other black people, why they're not speaking out, is because when they say they are in a gang, people justify in their mind that, well, maybe this kid shot somebody, he probably was selling drugs, so this is going to reframe other black people from getting involved when you say they was a gang member. That's why you got to make a clear understanding of how they are getting away with this by classifying. They're not out shooting black Caterpillar execs. They're not out shooting black people work at the courthouse. They're not out shooting black businessmen. They're out shooting black men that they can say they suspected them as a gang member.
Excuse me, Lord. 2 instances. Man, school teacher, sitting in a car with his wife, with a 4-year-old daughter in the back, Philandra. Police officer walked up and said, may I reach into my glove compartment and give you my ID? The police officer in front of his wife shot him and killed him multiple times. So he had a concealed and carry weapon. He was a police officer. He was not a gang member. He was a teacher. Another instance.
You don't have to be a gang member. All you have to do is fit the description.
All the description. You got
fit the
dreads.
description. Exactly.
They would shoot you?
They would. They if besides me being protected by a whole nother element, I fit the description. Even with this suit on, these braids, it's all they need to see. It's all they need to see. So you're pretty clean to me. But this blue, all they need to see to say I thought he was a Crip.
Don't forget the black.
Yeah, but black isn't a color that's associated with a well-known gang. Blue is. Braids are something that's been associated with African Americans that live in urban areas, so and part of a certain type of culture. So you got to understand when you're training Bob from Pekin that never been around black people, let alone people in the hood or urban areas his whole life, and they're training Bob how to spot a gang member or notice a gang member. They're teaching them colors, their hair, the gang signs, handshakes. These are the things that they're teaching them. So you got to understand, if you listen to hip hop and you are immersed in the hip hop culture, that can make you alone be considered a target as a gang member? How many kids around here dress urban just because that's the fashion, that's what's cool? There's a lot of kids around here that are not in gangs but will be mistaken as a gang member and be looked at as a threat. That's why I say this has been a war waged on African Americans, because culturally we like certain things, and these things that we like is what they declare war against. The way we dress, the way we look, the way we talk, the way we walk. You gotta understand, if you got too much pep in your step, walking like Obama, they might want to do something to you, because you got too much pep in your step. That means you from the hood. If you're from the hood, you gotta be in the gang, right? This is a training. This is their way of thinking.
Black media, we're gonna take care of it. We're gonna expose them. We'll bring you together. You reach out, touch us. We will investigate. We will go and sit in the courtroom. August 7th, 2018, Johnny Priester's judge has a decision because of several major erroneous errors that were made in that trial. A direct verdict by a judge can declare a mistrial, or she can give that man natural life for 60 years. I personally have read the court files. I am not a lawyer, but I do have 2 college degrees, and I can tell you, I do know the Constitution. And there were several constitutional witnesses were held and arrested and held, and their children were taken from them after they testified in 3 separate lineups that Johnny Priestley was not the person. 2 other people did the lineup, and they also didn't identify Johnny Priestley. Finally, a person that was being held and children were taken on the 3rd trial, when they said that Johnny Priestley was the person that they had previously not identified, they were released out of jail. So that's coercion. I did investigate. I did research. I have read thousands of pages on it. That's why I stand in front of you. This is just not my opinion. This is a fact. This is public record. Anybody wants to know public record, you can go right down into the courthouse. Anybody in the courthouse here, you can read that information.
And to lock that man up for 6 years without a trial, and then no real motive was ever established at that trial, no real opportunity, no murder weapon, the gun that they said was used didn't match the shells that they found. I mean, every violation of this man's rights you could think of was violated.
All of our rights are being violated, though, because when you lock up Johnny Priestley, you're opening the door to get your child locked up. Because now who's going to raise his children? While he's gone, he has a son. Who's going to raise his son? The streets. See how the cycle starts? It's a continuous cycle now. What will his son feel? Anger against the system? Daddy taken away? That's a death sentence. The man is 41 years old. Natural life plus 60, 100% is what they're asking. That man will never see daylight. You know what? When are we as the people going to stand up? And when are we going to fight back? I say the time is now. Black media, let's came together. And we're going to fight back.
Justice for all. And black media doesn't mean this is for black people, even though we are addressing black issues mostly because other medias aren't addressing our issues like they should. Somebody got to do it. We're going to do it. If you have an issue with anything that we're saying, we will invite you to the show. You can come on to the show. We will do an interview with you. You can sit down. We welcome your opinions. We welcome your honesty. Everybody, we welcome y'all to come join us in this movement. Black people, white people, all people. We need everybody to join this movement to let the world know that African Americans are being targeted.
No more.
Because if white Americans aren't speaking out, if Arab Americans aren't speaking out, if Hispanic Americans aren't speaking out, then it's a clear indication that we are in this fight by ourselves. And the humanity in me could never believe that and would never accept that, because I know too many good people of all races, ethnicities, and cultures out there in the world. So with that being said, this is a personal invite to everybody out there to look into Johnny Ray Priester situation, to look into injustice situation that's going on around this country. I'm pretty sure it's not just happening to black people. I'm pretty sure it's white people out there that really stands for justice and liberty, and the government are using these new laws to lock them up indefinite without trial. And if you don't have nobody out here fighting for you or speaking for you, how can you do anything if you're locked up? This is what's going on in America right now. We're taking a stand, me and Tony Jackson. We're taking a stand right now.
Brother, I stand with you.
Against this tyranny that's going on in this country. Because it is tyranny. And it's going on for a reason. It's a bigger plot. And believe it or not, it's a plot against all righteous people of the planet. All good people of the planet. People who want to build a nation based off love and peace. This is who this war is against, believe it or not. Believe it or not. And we also calling for the violence to stop around the world. Somebody might have done you so wrong, you might want to go kill them. Don't. Leave that in the hands of the Almighty. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. The Lord will take care of your enemies. That's who we depend on to take care of our enemies. We don't fear no man on this planet. White, black, green, yellow, orange. We don't fear no man. We fear God. God handle our enemies. And we want everybody out there to do the same. Don't raise up the gun. Put down the gun. Only way you raise up the gun is in self-defense. You do whatever you have to do to preserve your life. Have to do. Other than that, stop the violence. Don't give these people a reason to shoot somebody else because of something you're doing. Because of what you're doing, they're able to classify a whole race of people under an act for the actions of a few. So we even calling for you few out there. Let's stop that. We need y'all to join us in this movement. Because who you think they gonna kill next? Who you think they gonna shoot next? Who you think they gonna lock up next? We telling you, they done locked this man up for 6 years without a trial. Who you think they gonna do next?
August 7th, 2018, Sagamon County Courthouse. Get a hold of us. Let's all go sit in their courthouse. There is a chance for a direct verdict where the judge can override a decision because of the errors. And until then, remember, B.L.A.C.K. That's what it means. Justice. Till we see you. War Muhammad and Tony Jackson. Thank you.
For all y'all out there calling yourself gods, you ain't God. You ain't reached that pinnacle of greatness.
Actresses, bottles. That goose get them loose, and the truth is that I hope these bitches swallow. Leaders, masters, followers. There's 23 years. The power's in the truth. It ain't in the lies.
Hi everybody, it's Ward, and I'm here today with Rochelle Priester, and this is B.L.A.C.K Media, and we are here today to talk about the injustice in the criminal justice system in America for not just African Americans, but for anyone that may be against the status quo of what you call liberty and justice in the system and justice for all. How you doing today, Rochelle?
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So, tell the people a little bit about yourself and what you do in your organization, TAG.
Well, my name is Rochelle Priester, and I just started a nonprofit organization called Teenage Love Growth, short TAG. There's a couple symbolic names for it. The Alexandria gift after my daughter. That's the main focus on why we want to give back. You know, just a beautiful soul, you know, was taken home really early. So, you know, it's blessed me enough to give back to the others.
I'm sorry for your loss. Now, your daughter, her name is Alexandria.
Yes.
That's a beautiful thing. And the TAG is the Alexandria.
The Alexandria's gift, and then it's tillage allows growth. So we want to till the minds of our youth, which is going to allow them to grow. So we want to keep them aware of all the perks and, you know, good qualities in society that can keep them out of the streets and out of the justice system.
Now, who started this foundation?
Johnny Ray Priester.
Johnny Ray Priester.
Yes.
Oh, wow. And so who is Johnny Ray Priester? Where is he at?
Johnny Ray Priester is my future husband. We won't allow us to get married yet, but we will be soon. And he is in Sagamon County Jail. He has been there for 6 years.
6 years.
Yes, 6 years.
You mean he been sitting in?
He was waiting for trial for 5 1/2, like 5 3/4. You know, and then the trial only lasted like not even 2 weeks.
So his constitutional right to a speedy trial was just threw out of the window.
It was throughout, if I wanted to get my math really right, you know, it was throughout 120 days after you got locked up. That's a speedy trial. You got 120 days to due process.
Right.
That's so many more days, 365 in a year.
So what was Johnny Ray Priester charged with?
Murder.
Murder.
2 counts of murder, and then some more charges like assault and battery, and then a firearm was a felon. It was like 4 charges.
So what evidence did they present at the grand jury to secure an indictment?
There wasn't even an indictment.
There was never an indictment?
There was never an indictment. There was a person that has immunity in the case that testified, and it took so long supposedly because they had to locate the person. There was 2 men that knew a lot about what really happened, and they testified. They never got charged, never went to jail. Now there was a woman that was involved, which was his girlfriend at the time, and she testified that he was never there, never left. He was upstairs with her 5 kids sleeping, and they was downstairs playing dominoes. There was only one way to get past him, no matter if it was back or the front door, you know what I'm saying? But the other gentleman left, and then the other one came. And Johnny Ray never left. She testified that he was there all night, and they took her kids like 2 days later. When
because she testified for
stated
Johnny,
that
they
he was
took her
not
kids.
there. Well, when the interview came, there was like hours of interview tapes, and when it happened, her stayed the same. Her stayed the same for days. Then they came and said, "Look, you're going to end up getting your kids taken because it's what is it? I can't remember the charge that they had, obstructing justice, and they took all of her kids in DCFS, and I got original documentation. Actually, I gave them to Tony, letters of the station writing Johnny Ray talking about, "I will never lie on you. You know you weren't gone. We know you weren't gone. Even if you tried to take my kids, like Steve Bennett said, you know what I'm saying?" And then come to find out, that's the story that came out in the court in the jury trial, is that Johnny Ray was supposedly, Steve Bennett was mad because Johnny Ray was messing with his girlfriend. And that's why this whole story came out that Johnny Ray did it. He's not from here. You know what I'm saying? The evidence pointed that Steve Bennett had the gun. Okay? Supposedly Johnny Ray gave him the gun and gave his shirt. Johnny Ray is 6'1". Steve Bennett is like 5'7", 5'8". He's dark black. Johnny Ray's light skinned. Steve Bennett has droopy braids. Johnny Ray never had braids a day in his life. The description of the person who was shot by the fire or the light pole was 5'5" to 6 foot, dark skin, droopy braids, and gold teeth. That's not Johnny Ray at all.
So that was an eyewitness.
That was several eyewitnesses.
And that was their description.
That was their description. Then they said.
So hold on. So you got 2 eyewitness accounts that gave a total different description.
You got 6.
6 eyewitnesses?
6
And they all gave
different descriptions.
different descriptions
Yeah, they
of what Johnny Ray looked
yeah,
like.
the Dawn.
Also, Johnny Ray had an alibi that said he was
Yeah,
somewhere
he
else.
did. He did. And they caught him a half an hour. Like, who kills somebody, shoots up a whole house, and then goes to work? He's on camera at work. And then the one lady that gave him the ride that was supposed to testify that he didn't smell like bleach or whatever, she didn't end up showing up to court. See, a lot of sketchy things have been happening when it came to the whole court system. Like 2.5 years ago when I first met Johnny Ray, because he's been there 6 and I only knew him for 3. Okay, I met him in there through my sister, but 2.5 years ago when I first started protesting outside the Sagamon County building, Shane Thompson, Julio, that has immunity, hit me up in my inbox on Facebook, and I was paranoid, and I went to the police station. I mean, I called the feds. I told the feds these people were after me. They told me to call James Elmore and told him to tell Johnny Ray's wife. It's not emergency. Even with Tomas and Tomas just told me to call the feds. If they were going to bail my husband out of jail, okay, and they said Homeland Security feds came in and said they can't do that. If so, then Homeland Security was going to come in there. My husband told me to do what Tomas told me. Because for one, your first thing that you don't do when you take your shot is you don't fear no man. You fear our Creator, and that's Allah alone. And they showed fear in the government when they told them we have immigrants, you know, there's immigrants here, and we will send Homeland Security. When I took my shot, there was police out there. There was police. Women came into the bathroom and washed up and wudu'd and all that for a whole week and a half when I was taking my shot. You know, I practiced and studied, and then I took my shot. There was police officers up and down, and that's what they told me about things. I don't know. I've never been in a place like that. You know what I'm saying?
So is this place under some type of federal watch?
Probably. I mean, there's a lot of immigrants there.
Now, is this just a place where people go to worship?
Yeah, it's an Islamic prayer center in Springfield.
So are any of these people like known terrorists?
No, and they do things for the community. They all live and work. They passed the Constitution. They are U.S. citizens. A lot of them are. You know, I didn't meet any of them that weren't U.S. citizens.
So how did you meet Johnny Ray?
I met Johnny Ray through my little sister. I was actually down. My daughter had died. I was in an abusive relationship. I was with this man for years. He beat me. He's kidnapped me, broke my face, had me out on drugs really bad. I was homeless. My sister had lost her license, and her baby dad had went to jail and was up there with Johnny Ray. And she was pregnant, and the baby was supposed to be doing Johnny Ray's leap year, you know. And she's like, Michelle, I need you to take me up to the county building and go see my boy, you know, her baby dad. And she's like, but I went on ahead and put your name on somebody's list. This is when we went upstairs, and it was, you know, not contact through glass. Now it's video. So I've been dealing with videos with him for like 2 years. But for a whole year, we've had upstairs. And I was high on you know, crack, and she's like, you're not gonna come back. I was on the list, had my ID, went up there, talked to him, and that was the first visit. And when I left, you know, because the visits were every other day, you know, you have 2 days before a visit and then 3 days before the next one. But that first visit, all I did was think about it. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't think about it. But Johnny Ray, it took about a year, but well, maybe a year and a half. I had a long run because it was my daughter's anniversary coming up, but he had got me out of the abusive relationship. I ended up leaving the man again, and you know, just getting more protections, changing my religion, you know, really doing good. Started a nonprofit organization, was trying to help the community, you know, more. I got clean December 22nd, 2016. So, Johnny Ray, I don't know a lot. It's not even that he's my significant other. I feel that he's my soulmate. I owe that man my second chance in life. You know what I'm saying?
He played a big part in helping you get clean, getting away from an abusive relationship.
He was the reason why I got out of an abusive relationship. I was built up for years. I've been beat since I was 13. I've been in my home since I was 13. I didn't like what happened in my house. Not saying it was a bad home, but I lived in the middle of the hood.
So what type of person would you say Johnny Ray was?
He was a very person. Somebody that is looking at natural life plus 60 years, and that's the minimum sentence. He ain't broke, and he's not going to. He is the man of principle, confidence. He knows his worth. He believes in his creator, and he knows that what he does on this earth in physical form will get him to his future place in Jesus. That's all that matters to us. We live here just in physical, make sure our needs are so high that we go,
So Johnny, murder, life definitely not getting to that higher level.
Exactly. He knows that even saying, like, they gave him an offer of 20 years, supposedly 3 times, which is not correct. And another thing is, the victim's family should really, like, if they ever hear this, we want to help them too, because we're victims also. Like, his son has been taken away from his dad for 6 years. I've been taken away from my husband of having a good life for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? His mom, I don't know if she's sick. I don't know what's going on with her, but she's left him and came back and can't handle it. And I don't know what's going on, but she might not be around much longer. You know what I'm saying? He's almost 40 years old. Natural life, natural life's what, at least 25, and then plus 60 years. He'll never come home. And for what? Because, like, he's got a name in the streets. That's stereotyping. Like, that's discrimination. There's gays running around here. Yeah, there's gays running around here, and they can get married now. And we're America. People come here to be in the land of the free. We're not free. They get to pick and choose what constitutional right.
So do you feel Johnny Ray was targeted because of his religious beliefs,
Yes.
being a Sunni Muslim?
I do, but see, any person that is logical and has common sense would, if they're going to use that statement, they would read the Quran. And the Quran states in there that if you're a Sunni Muslim, and if you state with your mouth that you took a life, Allah is going to take your life no matter if you took it or not. Because gossip is the worst thing to Allah. Your tongue is a sword when it comes to Allah. You deny me in front of your peers. It says that in the Holy Bible. Deny me in front of your people, then I'm going to deny you in heaven. So, why would it take 20 years? And I even told him, hey, we can have a life together. You know what I'm saying? I've never touched this man, nothing. And we can have one. You've already done 6.
Something he had.
Yeah, and it was 85%. And I would have took it. If I killed a couple people, I would have took it and ran with it.
Right.
I definitely would have. But he's a man of principle. He's not going to. And you would think if a person on, pretty much death sentence would not be eating, would not be taking care of his health. Like, he got sick in there a couple times. After 4 years, it was exactly 4 years. I had known him for a year. There was a suicide attempt for Tiffany Rushing in Sagamon County Jail. She was on suicide watch. Now, okay, I've been falsely accused 9 times out of 12 to be arrested, covered in my own blood, and I'm bipolar. And I was high on crack with my husband at the time to go to jail in Sagamon County Jail because the cops didn't want to deal with it. So they say, we're just going to take you both to jail. We're going to get you in front of a judge. 9 times out of 12, I'm never going in front of a judge. I'm still covered in my own blood. You release us both at the same time. Never got options to have border protections paperwork. Never asked me nothing. No rehab options, nothing. So I fell victim into the system. And nobody wanted to help me because I was with a man that beat me. And I was going to protect him. Because I'm homeless. I'm homeless and I'm addicted to crack. And he's beating he's beating me. What do you want me to do? When I get caught by you guys, I'm like, help me, help me, help me. And you throw me in and let me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not justice. How are you protecting and serving anybody?
total disregard for your life.
Yeah, but now if I were to kill him, then I'd be in jail. You know what I'm saying? That's not right. That's not right at all. That's why our death rates are going down. That's why a lot of women are going to prison nowadays, because we're tired of getting beat. We're tired of getting beat. We stand up, we call. Look, it is hard when you are a woman who's getting beat up and you come from a poor, broken. You're a victim of the society. You know what I'm saying? I come from a low-income society. I don't really know how to eat in certain types of ways. You know what I'm saying? You fall victim as that, especially if people want to stereotype as my race. I'm a small white female that grew up in the hood. You know? So there was like 3 families where I grew up from that were all white girls. 3 sets of 3 white girls. And it was hard for us. You know, and the other ones, they're in school, but they're church ones, and they kept them in the house, and, you know, but what's going to happen when the real world hits it? You know what I'm saying?
So Johnny Ray priesthood in Sagamon County, where y'all live, was he a pillar of the community?
He's not from here. He is from Champaign-Urbana, and I believe that's why the ones that Julio Thompson and Steve Bennett, they're from here. And that was on North Side. And then see, now I know of the Dawn. I know a guy that knows the Dawn, and our rights are giving us, because so many of our people can't even get jobs. Like, you know, the nonprofit organization, we want to help the weak, the poor, the ill, and the oppressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am trying to create jobs. I got my record label, which I'm doing music management, which I also do urban novels based on true stories. Everybody I know has got a story to sell. Let's turn it into an urban novel based on true story. Change the names. You can get all the proceeds for yourself. Everybody in your life does not have to get paid off of what you've been through already. You know what I'm saying? I'm an entrepreneur without an education, and it doesn't matter about that. You know, I have common sense.
Self-educated.
Yeah, I'm streetwise, and I'm booked to a certain extent. But I know the law, and I know when you're doing something wrong and it's not right. It don't even sound right. Like, that don't even sound right to me.
So TAG, what was some of the things y'all have done for the community?
Well, we've had a couple of protesting things, you know, trying to bring awareness to it. They put me on media blackout. That didn't work out very well with me. So, you know, when I was blessed with my daughter's, you know, income, it was Memorial Day, and I fed like 400 people at Conveying Park. We had like the song for Johnny Ray that we recorded in my garage in the studio, play live, free. It was called Free, and we let it play. And I spent over $2,000 some. I did raffles. I gave out gift cards. I had a cotton candy machine, a snow cone machine, a bouncy house. I had the grills going. You know what I'm saying? We just had a lot of fun, because not everybody can do something for Memorial. And then it's right there in the middle of the hood, and they had water right there, and it was a heat advisory too. So I wanted to make sure that, first off, kids were going to eat. I didn't care if I was out of pocket and I wasn't going to get it back. And at this time, TAG wasn't legal. Like, I'm just in the midst of getting my tax exempt number, building my board, because you got to be very careful when you build a board for a nonprofit organization. If you don't have the passion that I have, you can vote me off. You can vote me and my husband off, and you can take my nonprofit. And I'm not going there for everything that I believe in. If you don't have passion and decent human, you know.
Decent.
Yeah, like, if you don't have a heart, man, I don't want to deal with you. I mean, I will deal with you and give you help, but it'd be from a long spoon. Because I have a heart, and people are taking advantage of me left and right. Left and right. You know how much I've gotten in it. People are trying to extort me left and right, talking about this and this and this. They're going to come do this to me. You know what? I do not fear nobody but my Creator. And if you're going to come, then it's my time to go. Because my daughter proved that to me. You know what I'm saying? They told me my daughter was going to be dead in a week. They unplugged her. And my daughter reversed her brain damage, got accepted for a heart transplant, and coffin swells. Yeah. Well, yeah. But, you know,
Sorry to hear about
only our Creator can take us. Yeah. He gives us life, because without Him, it's Him that's made it physically capable for us to even birth and give more life. So He is the only one that can take it. I can pull a trigger to my head right now, and if God does not want me to die, I'm not going to die. I'm going to be a vegetable until I learn the lesson of what he wants my vegetative mind to learn.
Well, I think that's kind of why we chose this spot, sitting here with these soldiers who fought for this country, who didn't fear death, who was willing to look the enemy dead in the face and say, I'm willing to die for what's right and for what I believe in. My freedom to speech, my right to a fair trial and a speedy trial. These are the liberties that people died and fought for, the citizens of this country. And it's up to the citizens of this country to make sure that their death wasn't in vain. You know, somebody fought and died for me to have rights, so I can have certain rights and liberties in this country, and I see those rights being taken away. It's our job and our responsibility to say and do something about it, and that's what B.L.A.C.K Media is about. That's what this interview is about. It's about getting the word out about Johnny Ray police situation, about the kids out here that's being murdered in the street just because they're black, just because they might have on a certain color or they have certain braids in their hair and they're stereotyped and they're able to get shot down like an animal during hunting season in the streets. And a lot of people aren't understanding what's going on and how are all these law enforcement people able to do this and get away with it. And if people are shocked, and our job is to bring attention to the laws that was passed after 9/11, which seem to not deter terrorism in any type of way, because the laws haven't foiled a real terrorist attack on America since 9/11. I mean, you got school shootings happening all the time, which are terrorist attacks by white men.
Our own people.
Yeah, our own citizens.
It's all because
and they're not black, they're not gang members. You know, these are
they
average.
Try to blame it on a video. Didn't they try to do that down in Oklahoma? That whole shooting thing.
But the guy, if you look into it, the guy said he was hearing voices, and the voices told him to do that. That's one part they're not putting in the media, that a lot of these people claim to hear voices.
The media is all what they want you to.
Yeah, the mainstream media is very compromising. In the famous words of Donald Trump, we call them fake news. So we're reporting live, uncut, raw, with you here today, and give the people, you know, something to think about, you know, because we need the support of the people. We need the people to get out and run for office that's going to address the issues that's plaguing the African American community in America, and change the legislation, challenge these homeland security laws that's targeting us as gang members, and being able to do things what they're doing to Johnny and get away with it. I've never heard nobody being locked up for 6 years in the county jail. And just hearing that alone let me know something was wrong with this situation. If a person did something and the case is that cut, clean, and dry, you got that much evidence, why does it take 6 years for you to convict them?
Exactly.
It shouldn't have took you no more than a year, maybe 2 at the most. And it shouldn't take that long either if you have the evidence, if the evidence there. Now, if you have to build a case, find evidence, find witnesses.
No evidence changed. For up to 120 days from the incarceration date to 120 days, there was no more evidence to change. And never, just finding witnesses that state what? If that's their story,
and witnesses,
that's their side of the story.
And witnesses that gave
got full immunity.
And gave a description of a whole totally different person.
It was certain interviews that I was sitting right there. The jurors wanted to take the equipment back to the original disc. And I'm sitting like, the original what? Oh, I know you know that is not right. Let you do, because this is so ground up.
So was this an all-white jury, or was it African American?
I didn't see any African Americans. And they were mainly Catholics. Yeah. And then small community areas. There was I think there was an
Well, we definitely want to thank you for coming and talking to us today here at B.L.A.C.K Media, and this is actually a media forum that Johnny Ray Priester came up with the idea for the name, and we put it into play for him because it is true that we don't have a voice out here. And the mainstream media isn't reporting on what's going on in our neighborhood. It's our responsibility to do. So this is our first interview. Next, it is not going to be our last. You know, we will definitely be trying to talk to you again and stay updated on everything that's going on with this situation, so we can get the information to the people.
Yes.
I
All I gotta
definitely want
say
to
is
thank you
just,
for
you know,
coming.
if anybody wants to help, get a hold of this man, you can get a hold of me. You know, we're trying to give away school supplies. We're trying to do some protesting, some marching. We're just trying to make a lot of noise before August 7th. Because this man, I do believe in my heart, oh my God, I believe that if my husband gets sentenced, and they should, I'll never see him.
But
He's
we ain't
gonna
gonna
follow
let that happen.
That's right.
We gonna fight. We gonna fight for Johnny until Homeland Security admit that they was wrong and they change those laws, and maybe we don't have to go in there and change the law. Maybe the people that's in power can say, hey, this plan wasn't written up right. African Americans are suffering the most from this, and this is obviously discrimination at the highest level when you're talking about murdering people in cold blood and locking people up indefinite without a trial and calling them terrorists for being a pillar of their community. We need people to get involved and to step up and to make noise in every state, every city, every country, to your legislators, and ask them, question them. Are black people classified as domestic terrorists in America? Are black gangs, are gangs classified as domestic terrorists? So that means you can shoot a gang member down in cold blood if they're just running away from it? And if this is the case, inform these gang members. I wonder how many gang members would probably not be in a gang if they knew you was gonna shoot them down just for running away. Whether if your gang was about planting roses, we have a rose gang. We plant roses in the neighborhood, and we have a gang that do that. But if that's going to get me shot by the police, you have to plant your own roses. We're not planting no more roses for the community or helping building communities up if this is going to mean a death sentence to our people. So we're signing out here at B.L.A.C.K Media, and thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for all your information.